college football has changed a lot since you were the head coach at Fordham. It's changed a lot since you were the head coach of Mississippi State, right? I mean, it's a completely different ballgame. With NIL, with the portal, with even some of the rules on offense have changed. What's been the biggest adjustment for you as you've, now in year 3 at Akron, you've had to adjust? I mean, I'm guessing it's been the NIL and the portal, right? How have you kind of adapted to that?
Yeah, it's a challenge from a program building standpoint. When you came out and, obviously, incredibly highly touted, and you went to Penn State and there were a group of 20 to 25 guys that were, your class, and you formed an identity and a chemistry with those guys. And, for better or worse, you were with those guys for 4 or 5 years. And, that day and age has since passed. And, here we still try to keep the foundational aspect of the program alive relative to recruiting high school players. Yeah. But, I mean, for us, it's free agency without the money. So, we split the class in half. We say we want to take half high school guys and half JUCO or portals, but it's incredibly transient. But the most difficult aspect is building a program with so many people in and out on a yearly basis.
I know how smart you are, and so I'm curious to ask if you have thought of a solution for college football right now, and if there's anything off the top of your mind where you're like, this is what would make this sport even better moving forward.
Hopefully I'm smart, but I'm definitely not that smart. I think that was above my pay grade, but I don't. In the current model, I mean, I just don't see how there's a demarcation right now, right? Yeah. There's the major Power 5 schools who are going to get their $20 million a year and be able to bankroll the team. Yeah. In addition to the third party collectives. Yeah. And then there's the people below that, and some of those are Power 5 teams, and then there's everyone else. So to me, at a certain point, there's going to be a split. And I'm not saying that based off of any information. I'm saying that based off of opinion. But there's going to be the schools that can afford to, pay that type of money and make that investment, and the people who can't. And, I think that's, eventually what we're going to see in college football.
How have you, as you built the roster at Akron, and you just mentioned some of splitting it between JUCO and all that stuff, how have you I feel like one of the hard things to balance is that you have to win. You have to try to win right now, right? Yeah. And a lot of times is JUCO and the portal. But you also, at the same time, have to have a roster that can win in 4 years. Yeah. And you got to figure out how to have leaders on your team. Like that balance of the two has to be one of the most challenging parts of your job, right?
It's tricky. Yeah. When we accepted this job, I knew it was going to be we took over the worst college football program in the country that had won 3 games in 3 years. So we knew that the turnaround wasn't going to be immediate, although we hoped that would be the case. So you hit the nail on the head. It's the juxtaposition of wanting to win immediately, because that's the nature of college football, that we live in an instant gratification society. But at the same time, having a foundation upon which you can build. So to me, that's the trick. That everyone wants you to win right away. But to do that, you gotta have the players, you gotta have the culture, and that's probably the challenging part too. Is you're trying to establish a culture of, discipline, accountability, work ethic, attention to detail, selflessness, and then it's like an Etch-a-Sketch. You draw the picture, and then that December you got to shake it up and draw a new one.